Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and it's Soul Sunday. And I'm delighted to be here. For those of you who are joining for the first time, Dear Mama Sal is all about helping you cope with life. And we do 3 different broadcasts every week. We do 2 on Friday, lunchtime Friday, Pacific time. We do what we call our feelings broadcast, where we deal with learning more and more about how we feel and how to cope with how we feel. And then in the evenings, we do with coping with less money. And then on Sundays, we do coping with relaxation in terms of lowering our stress. And this is a particularly stress-free way to do a broadcast. For those of you who don't know, it is my birthday today. So I actually wore a dress today. Now, you got to know, if you've known me a long time, I very rarely wear a dress. And thank you for the kind kind wishes there, Jeannie, and also from Jody. And, I very rarely wear a dress. And I decided today I was going to wear one. And and it's probably one of the coldest days we've had in a month. But I was going to wear a dress. And so what I wanted to let you know is that I've got some nice quotes for us about birthdays, and also Jody put together a couple of quotes for me that I wanted to do, which is from Yoda. And, there's something about the Yoda quotes that you just got to think a bit more, but, they are so meaningful in my view. I got up this morning and I don't know if you know that, but Yvonne came to visit me yesterday. And that was very relaxing. Yvonne and Wade both came and they helped me do a couple of things that I cannot, I was not able to do on my own. Dougie did one for me when he was here on Friday. And then what happened was that Yvonne and Wade helped me bring my barbecue up onto my deck. So now, actually, the dress is even more beautiful than you can probably see. Whoa. Hang on, I wonder if I can stand. There we go, show you the rest of it. No, that's a bit difficult. Can I show you? All right, I've got to get this a bit farther away. We can do this. Just bear with me. I've just got to move a very difficult thing away here. Okay, I can lift it so you can see it maybe. So it gets even more pretty as it goes down. That is difficult. I got to do this a better way for you. Hold on. I can do this. I just got to be creative. If I drop the computer, just hold on a second. If I drop the computer, forgive me. I'm just going to move away. Where do I need to be standing? There you go. There you can see it now, right? And now you have a picture of my house that you probably haven't seen before. There you go. I'm doing this very carefully so I don't drop my laptop here, because it was all set up beautifully. Now, while I'm at this angle, I just want to tell you, I've got a knee brace on. When Yvonne and Wade were here, somehow I managed to twist my knee. And it was just like so difficult. And then one of the joys that I found out about my new neighbors is one of them collects things like knee braces and stuff like that. So if you remember, he helped me with my ankles. And then as soon as I felt this morning, when it was, still bad this morning, I did take some ibuprofen last night. But, I just went, I can relax now. I'm pretty sure I know where I can get a knee brace in a hurry. So I baked bread last night. I made the dough last night, but I baked bread this morning. And then I cut it up and I delivered it to my 3 neighbors. And one of, they're saying I should open a bakery, but one of my neighbors is the guy that has, the medical stuff. And I went, you wouldn't happen to have a knee brace, would you? He gave me 3 to try. It's just like, that's pretty amazing. So here I am at 73, and I'm going, aren't I lucky? Aren't I lucky that at this age, I still have friends that come to visit and help me? Aren't I lucky that at this age, I still have a sense of humor? And that also at this age, that I still have all of you. And I really want to thank you so much for being here for me. I really appreciate it. So today we're going to look at old age. And, and when I say old age, because I believe that, very much so, that age is all about a mentality. And for some of us, being young is our problem. And for some of us, we think being old is our problem. And the truth is, be grateful for whatever you are. All right. And, in terms of coping, I've always said that coping is a learned skill. I don't think we come across it naturally. What do you guys think? And, while you're typing, let me know what you think about, I was trying to say to somebody yesterday, I must have been talking to Yvonne, and I said, 73 to me doesn't seem that old, but I remember my mom at 73. So is it that it's not that old when you get there? Or is it that a 73-year-old today is totally different from a 73-year-old from, a generation ago? Let me see what Jeannie said here. I saw this great quotation today by Lewis Carroll. Sometimes I believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. Yeah. Thank you, Rinsky. I appreciate the happy thoughts. Thank you. Yes, I want to tell you that quote is particularly relevant to me because I definitely have a lot of thoughts. Oh, Jody's saying that 73 is the new 53. But, I really have to say that my mom at 73 was, I don't know, she was definitely well slowed down. Now, I'm slowed down, don't get me wrong. But, I was thinking about everything I was doing yesterday. I was out in the garden, and I know, how many of you know that getting out in the fresh air is really good for your relaxation, really good for your coping with stress? It's just to make the time to get out into the fresh air. And I don't care if you literally go and take a moment to lean against a wall and just breathe in fresh air. But I just want to make sure you all know that if you want to have good mental health, if you want to have less stress, do yourself a favor and get out in the fresh air. I'm looking down because I want to see what I'm a slob watch says my resting heart rate is. It is 62 at the moment. Now, for somebody of my age, that is an incredible resting heart rate. I average about 59, just so that you know. And how do I do that? That's what my doctor asks me. How do you do that, Sal? And I said to him, I'm not aware that I work on it. So let me think what I do. And yes, Jody's saying, Sal, you're more consistently active than some people in their 40s that I know. So I have, as Jody knows, and some of you know who know me well, I have a routine. I get up in the morning, funny enough, and I put on my dirty clothes. Not everybody does that, right? I get up in the morning and put on my dirty clothes. Why? Because they're yesterday's clean clothes that are today's dirty clothes. And I put them on and I go out in the garden. After I've had my first cup of tea, the first cup of tea is a cup of coffee, rather, is sort of when I do my emails and things and report in on my blood sugar and everything to Jody and Lauren. But, after my second one, I'm outside. And when I go outside, I literally try to do things that are a little bit strenuous for me. I am systematically, I think you know this, I do one step at a time, literally on things. And I'm systematically digging up a piece of garden at the moment. That's hard work for me. And so I don't have to do very much, but every day I get the shovel out and I just dig one or two more bits to turn over. And once I've done that, I know I've used some muscles. I know that I've got some fresh air, and then I will go and water whatever needs to be watered, or I will go to the compost. I've got a compost thing. But every day in the morning, I go out and get some fresh air. And by the way, if it's crying with rain, I will literally go onto my deck. I've got this 29-foot covered deck, and I will play with plants. I think you know that. But I will also, on those days, do things like vacuum the deck and stuff like that. So I'm always looking to how do I get fresh air and a little bit of exercise to help my stress relief. I also have to say that I will 3 days a week walk down to where our post boxes are, and that's about there and back is about half a mile. And so that's good exercise for me. I also go out again in the evenings, and now I water again, and I'm hauling a big hose with me all the time. That's called resistance training, I think, for those of you who know about exercise. Right. And I don't look at it as, oh my gosh, this is hard work, I need to make it easier. I have this long hose because it is my resistance training. So I actually design my life to be my gym. Does that make sense to anybody but me? I will literally, as some of you know, I will take one piece of paper from my living room and walk it to my craft room to put it in the recycling, even though I've got a recycling thing within 2 steps. And, it's like, why do I do that? Because that's many more steps. I have so many steps a day that I try to get a minimum of. Yoda said, listen to this, in a dark place we find ourselves, and a little more knowledge lights the way. Yes, and Charlotte saying, yes, my life is my gym too. And I think, Charlotte, that you are a shining example of somebody who was in a pretty dark place, and you walked your way out. You did something about the dark place you were in. Actually, you did a number of things that I'm not sure I'm at liberty to discuss, but you did a number of things to help yourself. But I noticed that what you really concentrated on was getting outside, and you did everything you could to help yourself. Yes, Charlotte's saying, I'm an illness into health journey. Yes, absolutely. And can you see now why I keep saying to people, you need to do your way out of depression. You cannot think your way or medicate your way out of it. What you do is you need to do your way out of it. Even if it's 10 minutes of every hour, do something to help your mental health. All right. Sitting on your butt, feeling sorry for yourself is not going to help you. Right. So you can do that for 50 minutes of the hour, but then get off your doofus and go and do something. Because it is, Charlotte had every excuse in the world not to get out and exercise in the fresh air. She lives in a very cold part of Canada, right? And, it's like she didn't. She still kept going out. She still went out in the snow and the sleet and the rain and everything. So I want to say something. I am really proud of you, Charlotte. You are one of those people I talk about when I talk about why I'm so happy I started Dear Mama Sal. Because if I hadn't started it, I would never have met you. And Jody is saying, Charlotte amazes me, her activity level and her enthusiasm for running. I get a feeling it's her enthusiasm for life now. And it is wonderful. Rinsky's asking me, how's your birthday so far, Sal? Actually, I've been celebrating my birthday all week. Do any of you do that? I actually started the week, Rinsky. I started the week with buying myself a tub of ice cream. And I said, okay, and it's pralines and caramel. And, then I had the community get together on Wednesday, and they baked me a beautiful cake. And that was angel food cake with Cool Whip topping with pineapple inside. So tasty. I've got to find out how they did that, because that was the greatest angel food cake, Jody, and it didn't drop. And I've got to go and have lessons on how to do that, because it came out of a box. She told me that. Right. Why have one day when you can have the whole week? Yes. And then on Friday, Doug came to visit. And then on yesterday, Yvonne and Wade came to visit. And by the way, I noticed that Jeannie put up a note. It's her birthday on the 8th, I think, isn't it? If I got that right. I know that you put up a note somewhere, but yes, it is on the 8th, on September the 8th. I was actually getting to that, but Jeannie, thank you for reminding me. I really think, yeah, the 10K Doug. Yes, Charlotte's saying the 10K Doug question. For those of you who don't know, Dougie was invited. Well, actually, he was voluntold to go on a charity run because somebody dropped out of this sort of family marathon type thing. And they actually got hold of Doug and said, Doug, we need an extra person in a hurry. And you're it. Doug didn't even have shoes, for goodness sake, running shoes. But you need to know, for those of you who don't know, Doug's comes from Kenya originally. So that sort of gave him what I call a heritage advantage. And, the most incredible thing was that he, no training, ran a marathon. Everybody else trains for months for a marathon, not Doug, no. And he beat most of his team members. How many of you can believe that? So it was just, Jody will make a note of that, Charlotte. Thanks for reminding us. I think we've got you in, but I could be wrong. So September the 23rd for Charlotte. Any other birthdays coming up that we're trying to rebuild our birthday list? And so it is a lovely story to tell, right? About sometimes you just need to participate and you will do better than you think you will. And I want to tell you that when I think about my life, and hang on one second, I want to see if I can get, I'm just trying to get to some quotes that I've got here, but for some reason, isn't that typical on your birthday? So, no, it's not typical. Let me not do that. And do we really care? Not necessarily. Hold on one second. That didn't work very well. Okay, we'll do it a different way. Yeah, thanks, Jody. We'll check it later. I appreciate you making a note of that. Just bear with me a second because I really want to. Yeah, Jeannie's saying, from my experience watching Kenyans, they can run. They do well in the Boston Marathon, the main beach to Beacon. Yeah, but it also, Jeannie, isn't it true that we broad brush things like that? We stereotype all Kenyans as being good runners. Now, we know that isn't true. But the question is, why are there so many Kenyans who are good runners? That is the question. Is it because they're from Kenya? Is it because that as children they run to school every day and that run can be 5-10 miles? Is that what makes them good runners? You know what I mean? And so I'm laughing, Jeannie, because I think, we all do that, right? Well, if he's a Kenyan, I did it. If he's a Kenyan, he's going to be a good runner. But, it's like they grow up running to school. Why? Because they have to. And so, they are fit as a society, much more fit than we are. Just want to see if I can pick up these quotes on my phone here, people. For some reason, the connection didn't want to work the way that I wanted it to, but I might be able to do it on my phone. And maybe not. I will get to it. You know that I don't quit. That's not working for me either. All right, we'll do it another way. Yeah, and so, I think one of the interesting things about life is if you turn your life into your gym. Hi, Nada, good to see you. If you turn your life into your gym, you will be far less stressed. Did you guys see that pink dome that I bought? Did I show you that? Because I want to actually give you some feedback about what has happened since I bought that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I can quickly go get it. Okay. All right. Hold on a second, Nada. Let me go get it quickly, and then you will know exactly what I'm talking about. My knee is sore. Just bear with me a second. There we go. Actually, it's not as quick as I would like because I'm probably doing it. All right, let me try and do this one more time. There you go, Nada. It's just a pink dome, and it's filled with air. And what I do is I have it in the door frame, sort of on the floor in the door frame going into my bathroom. Now, why? Because a couple of times a day, as I come out of the bathroom, I will stand on it and just use the door frame as my stability point and stand on it with both feet, all right? And now I've got a balance, all right? I've got the door frame here in case I overbalance or underbalance or whatever. Now, you will say, well, what does that do? How many of you know I've been having really big problems with my heels and my Achilles and stuff like that since I moved? Well, I want to tell you in a couple of weeks, it's actually just a little, it's called a dome. Hang on a second. And I'll put a link up to it if Jody reminds me. I'll put a link up to it in the notes below so you can get to it later. And what the amazing thing is that in just a couple of weeks that I've had it, two things have happened. Number one, I can now stand on it without holding on to the door frame. Now, what does that mean? Think about that. That means that I've built up my core strength. How exciting do you think that was for me? How exciting was it to be able to stand on it and not hold on to the door frame and go, wow, I can stand without holding onto anything. And I thought that was pretty amazing. And I could feel the joy inside of me. Is that reducing my stress levels? But not only that, the problem with my Achilles tendons have actually nearly gone away already in 2 weeks. So it's also obviously working my Achilles in a positive way. And when I stand on it, I actually make sure that I am, literally rotating and doing stuff. I do need to hold on, I'm not good at it yet, but I'm getting better. Jeannie's saying, I am stronger. I am healing myself. Yes. And that is one of the things that I would say to you, whether you are stressed or depressed or overwhelmed or whatever, sitting and doing nothing doesn't fix it. Being angry doesn't fix it. I keep telling the story about Jody. When I first met Jody, she was dying, literally. And I remember having that conversation with her privately saying, is that what you want to do? And she said, what? And I said, is that what you want to do? Do you want to die? Because if you do, I'll be here and hold your hand. But I just want to know if you'd like to live. And she said, yes. And I said, good, then I'll still hold your hand. I'll just do it differently. And the most incredible thing is Jody's just come back from having a whole bunch of blood tests done. And she has taken her blood sugar down to so low that her doctor is now concerned and about to take her off her insulin, dropping her insulin down, and may actually completely stop it because she has done so much work on herself. So you're going, what else did he find out, Jody? There were other things, right, that you have done. And the only thing is, it might also have affected her thyroid. So that's the one thing they're going to double check on, because there's something not quite right there. But, when you look at it, she has done so much to help herself that she has started to live, all right? And she's done so much research. I call her Dr. Jody because, quite honestly, if you want to know anything about being diabetic or pre-diabetic or whatever, I don't think I would be as healthy as I am today if Jody were not in my life. So great gift to me, and thank you for all the love and time you have given me, Jody. And for those of you who don't know Jody, she is also our admin. Right. So Jody's got the problem that her thyroid is now overactive instead of basically not functioning. So there's hope for me that I could even get off my thyroid medication. That's interesting because my doctor said no. Interesting. Now, just to give you an example of what is relaxing is, you all know, because we're discussing it, that I am pre-diabetic, which means that I am on the fringe of being a diabetic. But if I can control that line there, if I can keep below that line, I will be all right. I will not have to take all the metformin or whatever it is, and I will not need to do all of that. But it's how much do I want to regulate myself? Well, of course, I went to Dr. Jody and said, how do I do this? And it is amazing the things that she has taught me. And one of the things, as you know, I'm a great believer in don't tell me what I can't do, tell me what I can. And, I'm constantly playing with that. Jody's saying, Sal saved my life, peeps. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for her. It's my job to do the work now, as I've been given a second chance. And boy, do you do it, and do you help everybody else do it, Jody. That's, you are the gift that keeps on giving. And so what I did was, as some of you know, there's certain things I wanted to carry on eating. Bread was one. Well, if you know anything about diabetic, you know that you don't eat bread. Or if you do, it has to be whole grain. And I went, no, I want tasty bread. How do I do this? I have spent a year developing my own flaxseed oat sourdough multigrain bread. And that, why is that important? Well, the reason is that I now have to deliver it to 3 neighbors every week. Why? Because they say it's the best bread they've ever tasted. And now they're telling me I need to open up a bakery. And I hadn't thought about it, but a lot of people in my little area where I live, not even in the whole community where I live, just in the corner where I live, a lot of people are older and not meant to be eating um, bread as much or whatever. But I actually have one person, Jody, who is 2 doors down from me, 3 doors down from me, and she actually is full blown diabetic, and has type 1 or whatever. And I said to her, I know you're diabetic, but just try a slice and see how much it affects your blood sugar. So she did the test, Jody, and apparently it puts up reading by 0.4. And I said, is that controllable for you? Is that something that you can live with? She said, keep bringing the bread. And by the way, she said, if you toast your bread, if you toast the bread that you make, Sal, it is even tastier than it is. I mean, it's magnificent when it's fresh. But for some reason, she said, when it makes toast, it's the best toast I've ever eaten in my life. And I'm going, okay. So, Jody, with tears in my eyes, thank you for all that you taught me. And thank you for encouraging me to be the rebel that I am and getting joy experimenting with, can I make a bread that works for me? And I knew I'd found that. And then now that I can share with my neighbors. Sandy, it's a learning process, Sandy. Be prepared to throw a lot of bread away. Or rather, if you make bread and it looks like a brick and sounds like a brick, you know what I mean? It's like you're going, quite honestly, cut it very finely and toast it. It is wonderful as a crisp bread. You know what I mean? This is cool. Don't wait, or slice it thinly and make it, and then toast it, and then make breadcrumbs out of it, and put that around meatballs or something. I don't waste a lot of bread, even if it starts to get old. And and some of you who were watching the videos that we did on Friday evening, the video we did on Friday evening, you will know I've even now got to the stage where I'm going, I wonder if I can make cheese. Oh, interesting. Sandy's saying, oh, and I've also noticed that if I toast the bread I eat, which is whole wheat, it has less impact on my blood sugar. How about that? Jody's saying, what is so very inspiring for me is how Sal finds options instead of excuses. The sourdough is a beautiful example. That's a what can I do? Powerful attitude, right? Now, the other thing is, how much ice cream can I eat in a week? Not very much. I discovered that. But you know what I have found out? Do you remember we made those popsicles a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was? We made those yogurt and fresh fruit popsicles. I can have one of those every evening, and I will. I actually have blocks of chocolate, and I will shave off some chocolate and melt it, and then run that over the popsicle. I also have. I'm able to take a caramel sauce and just drizzle that over the popsicle. I found things that I can do and not spike too much. Now this week has been bad. I'm way up this week, but it's birthday week, and I decided I was going to do that. Who knows if I'll have another birthday, right? With all that's going on in the world. So this is called no. I know I'm being I'm out of control a bit, but hey, I just won't be going for my A1C this week as I thought I would. I'll leave it another month. So the point that I'm trying to say to you here is Is our relaxation our responsibility? Or are we going to say, oh, well, I'm too busy, I don't have enough time to relax? And what does that mean? You see, if I can turn around and go, oh, I don't have time to relax, it means I'm actually saying I am not organized enough to make relaxation part of my day. Or as we were saying about making the gym part of your life, your life part of your gym, it means that you are not putting your exercise as part of your life. And so I look at it now and go, the reason that my resting heart rate is as low as it is not by some miracle. It is because I'm trying to make sure, and I'm hesitating because my sleep pattern has been a bit off in the last week with all the stress of birthday week. But I try to make sure I get enough sleep. How much sleep do you all get, by the way? And Nada, how much sleep do you get? I'm really interested in your sleep pattern. Because Nada, it's really interesting. I think some of you know, we had this discussion with Lauren. When, Jody, we started talking to her about this about 3 months ago, where we said, Lauren, it would be a really good idea if you started to be accountable for how much sleep you have and start reporting it every day. And yeah. And then suddenly she started to do it, and then she was a bit spotty about it, and then she started to really do it. And she is now up to 8 hours sleep a night, and you should see her pattern. It is so good, the one that she does. All right, so here we go. Sandy says that she's averaging about 7 hours of fair sleep. Yes, I do about the same. I think I did 6 hours and 59 minutes last night. So I think I'll call it 7, right? Let me see here, Sandy, what my average is. My average last week was 6 hours and 43, so I'm just about there. Ned is saying probably 6 to 8, but not restful. You toss and turn a lot. Now then, would you like to know how to stop that happening? Because I found the answer to that one. So let me know if you'd like a clue on that one. You see, part of the tossing and turning is that you're actually not relaxed when you go to bed, right? How many of you find you go to bed and your mind is still racing? All right, so Jeannie's saying, we have been busy, but take a day out per week to recoup, relax, and read, etc. Yeah, and it doesn't, mine's been busy as well, I agree. No, my birthday is today, you didn't miss it. So, all right, so here's the thing, Nada. When you go to sleep, do you have any extra pillows or an extra blanket you could roll up or something? Because what I found is that if I put a pillow, do you sleep on your side or on your back? How do you sleep? And if you say with my eyes closed, I will totally understand that. Okay, so you put one between your knees. Put one, okay. Oh, I didn't bring my whiteboard. Put one at your back, right down your back, so that it's not easy for you to turn. And so now if you're holding the one, if you've got one between your knees, I would hug another. But I found putting one at my back really helps. And the other thing I found, Nada, if you haven't got that extra pillow, if you've got a tennis ball or something, and lodge it in your back, it'll stop you rolling over. And what will happen is you will actually start sleeping more, better that way. Sandy's saying, oh, I just checked for the last night. I actually slept 8 hours and 23 minutes. That's a good sleep. That's the first time in a long time. So, Sandy, I really recommend that, you might want to join our fitness group. When I say our fitness group, we have a group of people that are reporting in on different things. And, so that you can be accountable for your sleep. Another, definitely start really being aware. Thank you for the birthday hugs. Start being really aware of your sleep pattern. Okay. I want to say that since I literally every morning, I know this probably doesn't surprise you, but every morning I get up and I take my blood sugar. Sandy, can you make sure that Jody, Sandy, are you in contact with Jody? And Jody, if you can make sure I add Sandy's Messenger account. All right, Sandy, do I have you on Messenger? If not, go to DearMamaSal on Messenger and ask for me. Ask that I connect with you on Messenger. Make sure I know who you are, because it might come up under a different name. And then what I do is I will add you and anybody else who wants to do that. And so Jeannie's saying she went to the chiropractor recently and she's doing easy leg exercises before bed to stretch. Yes. Do you have Facebook, Sandy? And the reason I'm saying that is because there are a group of people that come in on different points, right? Beth has the opposite to all of us on everything. She does she does incredible amount of steps every day. You don't hear from Beth a lot during the broadcast, but she listens a lot during, she actually listens to us while she's at work. But she actually has the opposite of almost everything. She weighs too little. She has to eat more because she literally puts in 10 to 15,000 steps every day, without even trying. Well, thank you, Jan. That's so kind of you to wish me happy birthday. Thank you. Enjoy your supper. And good to see you. Big hugs. So part of relaxation for Beth is for her to stop, right? Because she's like our own Energizer bunny. So we all have different challenges. So the fitness group is not about losing weight necessarily, although it is for some of us. It's not about controlling our blood sugar for everybody, but it is for some of us. It is about being accountable for whatever you want to be accountable for. Would that be fair, Jody, to describe it that way? So some people are talking about how many steps they did. And some people are saying how many steps they did because they know it's probably too many. And it's like everybody's sort of checking in with different things. And some people just are part of it and don't even check in. But hopefully that they will see that being accountable is a really good part of it. I have, for example, been, systematically trying to lose weight. I didn't want to go on a diet. I wanted to learn how to eat better. And so far, until the birthday week, where I put on 5 pounds and I've lost 2 already. Hi, Nal, good to see you. So what I've done is to systematically try and lose weight. So I report in on that. And, I don't really care how long it takes me. It's about, I want to be able to adjust it myself. I want to be in control of, and I think that's really the exciting part is I now know I can dip, and then I'll have an up, but I now know how to go down again. And then I did a really nice yo-yo along one benchmark that I've been doing. And I'm waiting to drop below this benchmark line. But, psychologically, for some reason, I am playing this everything except drop below the line. I'm going below the line before the end of the year for sure, and hopefully within the next week or so. Yes, Jodi's saying we meet everybody there where they're at, and there isn't a standard to strive for, right? Only what each person has decided for themselves. So, some people, to me, it's about we're not in a competition. I'm not in competition with Jodi. I'm not in competition with Beth. Beth's doing her journey. I'm doing mine. Jodi's doing hers. Lauren is an amazing story of somebody who has gone from being a child thinker to being an adult, from being an overwhelmed, overstressed person to being in control of her mind, all within the space of a year, I would say. Jodi, would that be fair? It's just amazing what Lauren has done for herself. And she has got so much stress going on around her life. And yet, amazingly, she is getting 8 hours sleep. And remember, she's in a wheelchair. Like, without all the life stress that's going on around her mom being in hospital and all sorts of things like that, she already has a lot of stress in her life. When I have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom, I keep thinking this is not something that I would want to do if I had to get into a wheelchair to go do it. So, to me, yeah, Jodi's saying Lauren is a shining example of determination. So while we think about that, is determination relaxing? What do you think? Or is it possible that determination done at the right pace? You see, how many of you saw me literally redo the whole of the steps up my tiered garden, literally restaining one step at a time? Right? Now, the old me would have said, I need to restain these stairs, and I would be out there and in pain and trying to do way too much and hurt myself even more and all those sort of things. And I just said, every time I go out, I just want to do one more step. And if I've done one step, I can do more if my back doesn't hurt or, whatever, but I can stop after one step. And you see, what it became was I'll get up in my, painting clothes, which is what I do, 3 times a week. I get up in my painting clothes and I get my stain mixed up. I've got special stain that, I'm doing stuff with. And I go, okay, what is the next thing I'm working on? And over the course of the last month, I have done, rebuilt and now restained all those stairs. And that is part of my exercise. It's part of my relaxation. Because how many of you can imagine that every day I got to see another stair, stained nicely and looking clean and tidy. And I'd stand back and I go, that's another one done. How many of you know that just literally trying to do one bit of tidy up on my deck every day for half an hour was just like, such reward to me. I could look and take the picture and send it to Bernice. Because Bernice and I exchange pictures of things we're trying to work on. And we do it in that same group. So, it's like, it's really important that you understand that part of relaxation is getting things done. Because the opposite of that, remember what I said to you on Friday, whenever I want to change a habit or anything, I look at the antonym. What is the opposite? And one of the things I am aware of is that as I sit in each room every day, as I look around and I go, what's the next thing that needs my attention? What one thing do I want to work on this week? All right, now as I sit here and look at my entranceway and going, the entranceway is looking a bit cluttered. I think I need to just get rid of some of the things on there. So I will, probably a 10-minute job at most. I'm looking at a couple of bottles of wine on my table that I bought in case people came and I needed to open a bottle of wine. Now I need to put those away. I've got some of my accounting out because Yvonne does my accounting and she needed some stuff. So that was done. So I've got to get some stuff off my dining room table. This is looking a lot better here. This area is one I've been working on. So the way I get through overwhelm, what is the opposite of overwhelm? That would be what? What do you think the opposite of overwhelm might be? I would like to suggest that part of the relaxation of overwhelm is that you make the time to do the things that are presently looking overwhelming. I thought my deck would take me a month of Sundays to tidy up. And the most incredible thing was that when Yvonne and Wade had never been here before, but Yvonne, has been here. And when she walked onto the deck, she said, "Wow, this looks twice the size. What did you do?" And I said, "I did it." But now I've made room to put the barbecue. I've got an electric barbecue. I've made room to put the barbecue on the deck. And you're going, why would you do that? One of the problems that I had last year, if you remember, was the snow. And the snow came and sat on my awning. And I hear that this winter could be pretty bad as well. And I was thinking what I need to get are some, Jody is already going, I know what she's up to. This is what can I do? Do I need to buy heat and, one of those patio heaters for my deck? And I went, no, I've got one. It's called a barbecue. I've got an electric barbecue on wheels even. And how many of you now know that this winter, if it snows and the snow starts to sit on my awning, I'm going to be moving my barbecue and getting rid of the snow. Jody, are you laughing yet? And it's just like, what can I do? I don't have to buy anything. I've already got it. It's called a barbecue. By the way, if people want to come and sit on my deck, when it gets a bit colder in the evenings, I will just fire up the barbecue and, create a heat source. I don't know if it's going to work. I might buy one of those table fires, but I don't have to, yeah, I think I'm going to try doing it with my barbecue. Now, again, how many of you understand me enough to know it is doing these sort of things that make me laugh, right? I mean, even Wade said only Sal would think to use the barbecue as a patio heater. And I said, well, it'll work, won't it? And, we were looking at the difference of, between the top of the barbecue and the the aluminum awning. And he said, yeah, don't get it too close to the siding, but yeah. And I said, good. And so, we will just do some tests. Yes, so I'll have the tabletop fire for the ambience, but the heat source will be the barbecue. Or, you see, part of what I'm thinking about is, we won't be having as many people into our houses this year, right? But, if we still want to be social, what are we going to do in the winter? You know me, I'm always thinking a season ahead. Now, how many of you know that part of my relaxation is growing my seedlings and vegetable seedlings and now creating my on my deck greenhouse? some of you know that that's part of my relaxation. I go outside and I play with my plants and talk to them and nurture them and do everything. I will soon be able to grow seedlings in my greenhouse window again. It's been way too hot to be able to grow seedlings there. But, as it gets cooler, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've definitely noticed that the nights are beginning to get cooler. But as it gets cooler, I've already thought about how am I going to keep those plants warm? And I'm pretty sure I am going to be able to put a light in there. And just a light will be enough heat, because, I'll be doing those experiments, because that's what I do in life, right? I experiment with things. I'm pretty sure that just a light bulb will be enough heat to give to those seedlings during the winter. Now, what makes me think that? Let me tell you, experience makes me think that. I can remember being a camper, and some of you, I don't know, was I broadcasting in those days? I think I was. I took Big Brother Jeff up to Whistler just before the Winter Olympics. I took him up in New Year, the winter, just before we did the Winter Olympics here in Vancouver. And it was minus 12 centigrade. That's pretty darn cold, right? It was minus 12, whatever. And my tanks on my trailer iced up. And what I did, much to my brother's joy, was I crawled under my trailer, and with cardboard and rugs from inside the trailer, I created this whole barrier around my water tanks and a light. I took a table lamp and put it there as well, and then covered it around with cardboard and carpeting and stuff, and completely defrosted my tanks overnight. And so, this is about, I know the heat, amount of heat that comes out of a light bulb if you contain it. Have any of you realized that? The other thing is, how many of you know that one of the most enjoyable heat sources, if you ever have a power outage, is candles? All right. And they can be tea light candles. If you turn on or light up enough tea light candles, you can actually heat a room very easily in a very short space of time. It is amazing the heat that they give out. Now, they only last for a couple of hours. So, but for those of you who I want to be prepared, not scared for the coming winter, those people who are in the Northern Hemisphere, then understand that getting yourself some beautiful candles, from the dollar store or the Dollar General at Beth's place and Becca's place, get yourself a whole stack of them, right? So that you can literally, when there is a power outage, you can have enough heat and enough light. Not just one pathetic little candle, like you can create as much light as you need and as much heat as you need. And I learned that one, funny enough, from Yvonne. She used to be big into candles. And I noticed that she, I'd go downstairs, and her place normally was about 5 degrees cooler than upstairs. And, I'd be going down there and going, boy, it is warm down here. And I realized the reason was she had all these candles going. So is that a relaxation thing to know, hey, I don't have to be scared of the power outages if I have enough candles? Okay. How many of you have one of those plug-in torches that only comes on when there's a power failure? My sister gave me one as a housewarming gift. By the way, it is the greatest housewarming gift to give anybody. And it literally just plugs into a socket, and then it just sits there. The only time it switches on, unless you take it and turn it on, is if there's a power failure. And if there's a power failure, it automatically turns on. And I always keep it wherever I live, in the middle of my house. Why? Because then I'm probably going to be able to see it from whichever room I'm in. And you know, it's amazing. It's just, I don't fear power outages the way that I used to. The little trick about the candles, I found that really useful when I had a fish tank and a power outage. Because what did I know? I just need to set up some picnic tables, you know, some of those TV trays tables around the fish tank and light some candles around it, and there'll be enough heat to keep the warmth around the aquarium. What is it called? Very good question, Jeannie. I'd have to look. Jeannie, if I'll get Jody to remind me, and after the broadcast, I will go and look and also check it out. See, you know, mine is about 25 years old, so maybe more, 30 years old. So there may be different ones today from the one that I have, but I will do some research for you and show you. And I'll put it up on Facebook for you. How's that? So, you know, this is about, try thinking a season ahead is actually very relaxing. Does that make sense? So I'm now, when I'm sitting and contemplating the world, I'm thinking, what's the next season? It's autumn. What do I need for the autumn? Well, I've been keeping all my milk jugs, and I think you know that in the fall, I actually, when it gets close to getting frosty, I bring in my geraniums, and I just put them in my, hang on a second, that's close enough that I can get it quickly, just hold on. Well, yeah. Let me just show you what I do. I choose to have things growing in my house in the winter rather than flowers. I grow seedlings and stuff. But what I do is, this is a milk jug, and I just cut down here next to the handle and then around. Can you imagine what it looks like normally, the top of it? And that is, I use them for planters. And in the winter or the fall, I take all the geraniums out of the garden and I plant one in each, you know, and I've got the whole lot ready. I've kept all my milk jugs, and I will be, and I've got the compost all ready. So now I will start filling all my milk jugs ready to take the geraniums. And if you remember, I bought all my geraniums from my previous house like that and just stored them inside during the winter, and they all survived. So to me, this is about, I'm always trying to think one season ahead. So let's all do that. What else do you need in the fall or early winter? How many of you know that you're going to need some different clothes in the fall or early winter? Okay. So Jody is dropping weight at such a rate, and will we be eating different foods in the fall and early winter? I am now amazed that now that I've learned how to make yogurt cheese and now the goat cheese. How many of you were watching me make the goat cheese? Would you like to see how it looks today? I now know I'm going to be saving 50% of the cost of my cream cheeses. Well, no, I'm going to be saving, about 50% on my cream cheeses that I have. Every night I have crackers and cream cheese. and some fruit. And, you know, it's just like, okay, I've got that one covered now. Jody wants to see it. Yeah, I meant to get it ready, so hang on a second. I will get it for you, Jody. So just bear with me. The reason I'm just delayed is because as I took it out, I managed to mess with it big time. It will make more sense later. Okay, so for those of you who watch me make it, here it is now. It's about a cup's worth, all right? And what I've done is I've kept some, what do you call it? I've kept some coffee filters on top of it and turned it upside down so that it can continue to drain some of the moisture. However, it's not holding its shape yet. So we need a bit more work on it. Okay. But it's getting close. Can you see that? So to me, this is like, I now can make my own cream cheese. And I did add a touch of salt to it. And you know, I could eat all of this quite easily. And I made this from goat's milk. So good. Now, is it relaxing for me to know I can do that? Yeah. Yes, Sandy's saying, I was talking to Jody after that broadcast about making yogurt, and now I'm trying to work out if it's cost effective for me to do cream cheese as well. Jody said, yes, Jody said that a cup of cream cheese where she is, good goat's cheese, chèvre, cost about $12. And we made this for five Canadian. You know, I'm just going to eat all of this if I sit here with it like this. I'm not going to do that. Jody, no idea about the glycemic index on goat cheese. I don't think it's that bad. But Sandy, we found out that you can make cheese from, Jody, what did we find out? We were going to show Kez chickpeas and something that you can make a cream cheese. I guess it's like a hummus. So that's right. I am wondering if any of you would like to see me try and make ice cream. Without an ice cream maker, of course, just with regular stuff. So, you know, those sort of things, it's all about if we can halve the cost of it, and you're not using that much anyway, you know, it's not a bad idea. That's the whole point about those Friday evening broadcasts is if you had to make cheese, could you? Yeah, I think that's an important thing. But if the only way you could have cheese is to make it, would you want to know how to do it? Do I use stevia in what? I use Truvia, which is the same thing, right? I didn't put any sweetener in the cream cheese. It is just literally goat's milk and lemon juice. No, that's all. We didn't put anything else in, did we, Jody? It was just goat's milk that we used. And the curdling stuff. So again, what I'm asking you is, Jeannie's answering the question about what do you need for the fall. And Jeannie said her dog, Misty, had a beautiful reversible coat for the rain. And they just bought her a red waterproof one on sale. It was $51, but it was marked down to 12. The one that they had, they lost in the fire. So that is an incredible saving for thinking ahead of the time. How many of you know that buying winter clothes now is not a bad idea, because they will want to start selling them immediately, that they get them into the stores. But for some of you, you buy your winter clothes at the end of the season, which is smart. Okay, there's barely any carbs in cheese. Okay. Okay, yes. That's good, Sandy. Jody, can you just do a screenshot of me for that, if you would? Sandy's saying, if you use the liquid kind, and I do have that, you can try the heavy whipping cream ice cream method. Yeah, I was going to use the heavy whipping cream. And apparently they're saying that to use condensed milk with heavy whipping cream, and I'm thinking, oh, I bet that tastes good, because I would actually use the caramel type condensed milk. I want to try that, don't you, Sandy? I won't be able to have it every day, but every now and then that would be so good if I can make it myself. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying those broadcasts, because to me, the fact that some of you are even trying some of these things is wonderful for me, because I'm pretty sure that anybody that has started to try and make their own bread is going to have the same experience as I do. I literally now, Dougie came, guess what? I hauled some bread out of the freezer. I also had some fresh bread, but I said, and here's one to put in your freezer for one day when I'm not around, when you're busy and you can't get to me and you fancy some of the bread. When Yvonne and Wade came, guess what? Here's some fresh bread, but here's one frozen for you to put in your freezer. And this is it is a wonderful hobby to have. And I have yet to find somebody who doesn't like homemade bread. There is just something about the fact that you bothered to make it. All right, so Jeannie's saying a big mistake today. I wanted to make truffles using 2 ingredients. I bought evaporated milk instead of condensed milk and used cocoa. It did not work. And then I added sugar to the milk and it still did not work. Well, one of the joys in life is some experiments don't work. But what did you learn, Jeannie? You see, that's when I always say to people, the way I learned to make bread, that journey is littered with some pretty interesting bricks that didn't make it into anybody's stomach, that ended up feeding birds or ended up as breadcrumbs, right? Not all loaves came out well, because, I really don't measure. And yeah, and that's wonderful, Jeannie. That touches my soul. All right, Jeannie's saying, I learned a lot. And because of you, I did not feel bad, right? It was just an experiment. And your next experiment is going to be better. Remember that Edison failed 30,000 times before he got the light bulb to work, people. He wasn't fair, didn't beat up on himself and stress himself out about what a failure he was because he hadn't found it. He just said, every time I don't do this right, I'm learning another way that will work. And Jody's saying a wonderful quote. What a beautiful quote. I'm not sure that I could be friends with someone that doesn't like homemade bread. And the fact that I can actually make bread that is pretty doable for people with diabetes, what gift is that to my friends, right? And you know something, Jeannie? I totally understand. Jeannie's saying my history was that my mother thought I was never good enough at cooking. I was always, my mother was the cook and my sister was the entertainer as well, the both of them. And I never had that title, right? And it was meeting Yvonne that turned me into a cook. Why? I could make anything and Yvonne would love it. You know what I mean? I got to the stage where I'm going, Yvonne, you cannot possibly like everything that I make. And she goes, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I like this as a V-neck. What do you think? So that's because I'm sitting down and it's not sitting properly. So to me, Jeannie, this is like people. I think let me just check with the other viewers. How many of you had that happen to you where you were conditioned not to be good at something, or in your mind thought that you were not good at something because of something other people said? How about the fact that, I never thought I'd be good at woodwork because that was man's stuff. And I loved woodwork. All right. So Judy's saying, I love cooking, but I didn't start until I was 19. Well, I didn't start cooking when I was 19, other than basic stuff. But, I didn't start actually experimenting with food until much later. When I say experimenting with food, I knew I didn't ever want to be a good cook. I just wanted to play with food. Yes, and here we go. Jody's saying that Chicken Soup for the Soul, you remember that famous book that started a whole series, was rejected by 144 publishers before it finally got a yes from number 145. That is an incredible bit of information. And Jody, any idea how much money Canfield made from it? Wow. Sandy has now made her sourdough starter and called it Hermione. I think that's wonderful. She's 24 hours old right now. My daughter said she's just a couple of bubbles. She sees a couple of bubbles, of course. And by the way, what are you doing? You're taking some out every day, Sandy? And you know that you can do stuff with that bit you take out, right? Are you leaving it out on the kitchen counter all the time, or are you putting it in the fridge? Any minute now, you're going to know why all my neighbors get bread, right? Because to me, it is such fun to have the starter and keep making new bread. It's just like you get into the routine; it becomes part of your life. I cannot believe it, Sandy. I now do that before my first cup of coffee. And it's amazing. I literally will put the coffee on, and while the coffee is making, I will be making bread, making the dough. I'll be taking yesterday's starter and adding it adding more flour and stuff, and making today's bread dough, which will then sit on the counter rising all day, and then I will bake it tonight. You know what I mean? It's just like and then part of that becomes tomorrow's starter. All right, so Chicken Soup for the Soul. Jody, you're so good at this stuff. All right, Chicken Soup for the Soul was translated into 43 languages and has had a revenue of over 100 million a year in the US and Canada alone. Can you imagine 144 publishers going, wrong call? All right, so Sandy saying, yes, we will discard tonight. Don't discard it, Sandy. Use it. Seriously, make a wrap out of it. So is it, hang on a second, let me get mine so I can just should give you this. Hold on. Oh, my knee is really sore, people. But I can do it, right? I can walk. So I sort of have ongoing starter, Sandy. This is mine at the moment. And what I found is it starts looking really creamy. It actually looks a lot like goat cheese. Leathery is how it looks now. So I know it's good. All right. And I've just punched it down. But when I add my, I add flour, whole wheat flour and rye flour and flaxseed and honey and everything to this, and then roll it with a rolling pin. It becomes really great and easy. And then I just let that, once I've done that a few times, I let that sit on the countertop and it just rises up. But what you do is take some of this even. If I were not going to put this to make more bread, I would just take a dollop of this like this. You see this, how it stretches? I would take a dollop of that and a little bit of probably water and just put it in the blender. So it makes a sort of milk, thick milk, cream, and make a wrap. You could make yourself a daily wrap and just put cream cheese and cucumber on it, and homemade cream cheese. You don't waste anything. Or the other thing, Sandy, if you're not doing it, is that you can actually put it in a baking tray flat and let it dry out, and it becomes yeast. You can just add it, just let it dry out, and once it's dry, just pulverize it and keep it to add to your bread. Bit of extra oomph, no charge. I want to tell you, it is a journey of a lifetime. I think making bread is a journey of a lifetime. And I think it's part of my relaxation, without a doubt. Part of my stress relief is to get up in the morning and make the time to use my hands to make bread. And I don't know about the rest of you, but every time I'm making it, I keep hearing, "Give me this day my daily bread." And I'm going, "You bet I will." And it's like this bread, even in this present state, Sandy, you could make a very thin pizza crust out of it, right? Even though it hasn't risen. All right, just because of what's in there, you could actually add a bit more flour, roll it out, and make a very thin pizza crust. You don't have to throw it away, is what I'm trying to say. And that's what I had to learn, because I thought, boy, that's such a waste of stuff that you have to throw some out every day. No, you just need to use some of it and then add more. All right, so. All right, how about that? Jeannie's saying doing things that one loves helps everybody. You enjoy the activity and other people enjoy the results. Yes. Oh. Sandy's saying Hermione, her starter dough, all right, is so tiny. So the discard will be minimum. Well, this is my starter dough. This is how much I keep. You know why I keep this much? There's a reason for my madness here, Sandy. Even though I just use it for myself, if I suddenly need to bake a bigger loaf of bread because I know people are suddenly coming, I've got enough starter to be able to take half of this easily and make a big loaf and still have enough left over. And that's why I always keep about what is that, about cups worth? And by the way, I do find that about twice a day, I will just literally take a fork around the edge of my starter. Can you see what I'm doing here? I just pull it into the center like this. Just like that. Just go right all the way around. Then it'll just start to grow again. I don't know why that works, but it does. Tiny Hermione. Could you keep a note on that one for me so I can remember to find out how she's doing? But happy 1 day anniversary to Hermione. And, what I want to know, Sandy, is how much fun you and your daughter are getting out of it. Because what I was saying to Linda, for example, is, and somebody else I was saying this. Oh, apparently when Doug took the bread home, his son, that's his girlfriend's son, he's not Doug's son, but stepson, if you like, apparently grabbed hold of the bread and then consumed quite a lot of it and said, "That is the greatest bread." And then I said to Doug, actually, Jess wrote to me and told me that. And I said, you want to get Doug to teach him how to make the cheese that I showed him. Yeah, because Doug was busy eating my yogurt cheese while he was there. And I said, that's a great thing to teach a kid to do. All right, so Sandy's saying once Hermione is mature, I plan to use the discard to share with a couple of other friends. Absolutely. And this is the whole thing. This is the gift that keeps on giving. But the only thing is, as I said, my neighbors think I should start a bakery at this point. And, I am waiting. I will keep supplying them with bread. At the moment, I'm just sending over a few slices every week. Because it's like, I literally on Sunday will send over, 3 or 4 slices. And, because I also have to remember I'm trying to save money as well, but I'm still giving the gift and they're loving it. But, or I'm doing a small loaf and sending that. So I'm also aware that I am paying the cost of it and I need to be careful of my cost now. So, if somebody suddenly starts, pitching up with a bag of flour, they'll be getting whole loaves. In other words, if you want to supply the stuff I need, I'll gladly bake you free loaves. But, obviously it's about a win-win here. Oh, you're going to make the vanilla as well, Sandy. I want to tell you, it's the funniest thing. For those of you who weren't here, we actually learned how to make vanilla extract. I've still got that box of bottles, and I just literally go there and I shake it about every other day. I just literally shake the box, put it down again, and then I walk past and I shake the box and put it down again. What I'm looking forward to, Sandy, what I'm looking forward to is that it's everlasting, just about. As long as I use it, every now and then I top it up again with more vodka. What I will do is, I've still got half a bottle of vodka here that I'm going to be really making sure that doesn't get used, because or I'll buy more, but, I'm going to keep a couple of bottles for myself because I love it. I really do love that particular, what do you call it? Almond milk, Earth's Own, I think it's called. And then with some vanilla in it. I want to tell you, the taste of that is like, whoever knew that almond milk could be that good? Amazing. So, and it's something about the vanilla with it that just makes it really great. All right, so Jeannie's saying, great gift. I made 2 meat loaves, one for us and another for a dog groomer and her daughter. This recipe had bacon in it. Well, we know anything with bacon in it's going to be a big hit. Then I made mashed potatoes and a variety of sautéed vegetables. Good meals. Yes, we're going to actually, it's funny, I'm going to be doing a basic hamburger mix meal. I just want to show people again, buy a big thing of hamburger meat and then cook it all up together and then put it into one serving rations, if you like. And now, depending on what you want to cook, you bring it out and let's say, yes, you used hamburger and ground turkey, right? I am a great believer that that's, for example, when I make my Scotch eggs, which are boiled eggs wrapped in hamburger, I use pork hamburger, what do you call minced pork to wrap around the and sometimes I throw some bacon bits in there as well. I'm a great believer that you can make, add more pork or the white meats with your beef ones, and we'll be talking about that because it's healthier and also, it makes it go farther. The other thing is the way that I batch cook it all in my slow cooker. I batch cook it all and then put it into the freezer. Now I can decide, do I want to have spaghetti bolognese? Okay, then I need to take out 2 helpings of pre-cooked duh. Now I'm going to add some fresh tomatoes and I'm going to add some basil and I'm going to add this. You understand? It's such an easy way to cook because the base part is already done. Or maybe I just, want to throw it over a salad, crumbled. You had to buy tin foil containers to cook them in. I want to say that, yes, because you were giving them away. I actually don't, I've stopped using tin foil containers to cook in, I must admit. But that's interesting. Why did I stop doing that? Jeannie, I think I read somewhere that cooking in tin foil was actually pretty dangerous nowadays. Why did I think that? Does anybody else have any input on that one? You didn't have anything because of the fire. Yeah. I quite honestly, Jeannie, my recommendation for somebody like yourself, because you cook a lot and you give a lot, is maybe go to the dollar store and get the glass ones so that you can cook them, freeze them, and then take them out of the glass and give them, just wrap them as blocks. Does that make sense? A much better way for you to do it. Yes, thank you, Jody. I knew that was something pretty bad. It is dangerous because it can promote Alzheimer's. And once I read that, I said, I'm not going to be, I still use aluminum foil occasionally, but I definitely don't cook in it the way that I used to. You could line the tin foil container with parchment. Would that start? Yeah, that's a good point. And so now that's a really good hint. Jody, what about if I'm using tin foil, for example, over a roast or something? Should I line it with parchment and then the tin foil? That will stop the leaching, right? I'm glad we had this discussion, Jeannie. Thank you for talking about it. You see, one of the things I've said, Jeannie, is the whole thing about DearMamaSal is a group of people. You see, we all are feeding each other information. Yes, Sandy's saying we actually put a layer of parchment paper under the foil. That's what my mind told me. Okay, that's great. Thank you. So I will now be doing that. And if I had not seen that comment about I cook them in tinfoil containers, I wouldn't have made my comment and we would not have got there today. So thank you. How many of you are going, wow, I didn't know that. So whenever you need to use foil, use parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper as the buffer. Okay, it's okay for short term. and it's not exposed to too much heat, but lining with parchment is safest. You see, Jody is a wealth of information, isn't she? Just wonderful. Well, I hope you felt a little bit relaxed today. I wanted to ask you, how many of you did any of the yoga stretches that I showed you last week? Did any of you do any of them this week? Just the simple ones that I showed you? And if you really want to think about relaxing, I really recommend when you go to lie down and you're about to go to sleep, it is amazing what you can do. Just literally while you're lying in bed, just stretch your one leg as far out as you can and then relax it again. And stretch the other one as far out as you can and relax it again. And stretch your one hand as far as you can and relax. You know, it's amazing just the little stretches that we can do. And then again, you know, interesting. Jody's saying, I've been stretching every morning, the arm stretches, trying to help my arthritis. Yes, and stretching your fingers, Jody, very important. You see, this is the finger that's giving me trouble. I don't know if you can see how it's bending, but that is amazing how painful that one is. But the rest of them seem to be doing fine. But that's why I am doing these stretches. I have a really painful joint in my thumb as well. And so to me, just a little bit. Yeah. So it's painful to do it, right, Jody? But what I found is if I do it, it seems to help. Oh, and Jeannie's saying, I'm doing leg stretches now for the arthritic left side. Well, that's part of the reason I got this thing, all right? Because I know this is going to force my core strength to work. And that'll keep me balanced better. By the way, I have now put orthotics into all my shoes. I know that my feet rolled over, you know, my foot, if this is my foot, my whole foot had rolled over. My ankle was twisted over, right? And now I've put orthotics into all my shoes, pulled out the liners of my shoes and put orthotics in. And definitely it is all helping bit by bit. And the other thing is, what I've realized was when you have orthotics, you can, I have 2 pairs. And what I do is I throw 1 pair into the washing machine every couple of days and wear the other pair. All right. So this is like you don't have to buy 6 pairs of orthotics. 1 pair is being, I wash 1 pair and I don't put them in the dryer, but I just have them washed in the washing machine and let them air dry, and then I wear the other pair. Does that make sense? And now my feet, I want to tell you my Achilles heels between doing this and having the orthotics, just amazing the difference already. And now I put my knee out. Well, you know, life's like that, isn't it? But I'm a happy camper. And, you know, I am hoping that this time next year, we will still be talking to one another and that life will be much better for a lot of people and not a lot worse. I do want to say that I believe the coming year will be one of the most stressful ones that we will probably have in our lifetime. And if we can all stick together and help one another and make sure that we all learn together and grow together, and then we can help other people. And we can help by feeding other people. We can help by teaching other people these skills. Sandy, you are going to be somebody who's going to, you know, inspire your daughter to learn how to make bread and cheese and wraps. And in turn, she is going to teach other people. You know, she'll be talking to her friends about it. It's so easy to do once you know how to do it, right? It's like she will inspire others, and therefore you will be helping a lot of people. And so thank you for risking it. Thank you for taking up the challenge of trying it. And thank you for not quitting on it. You know, when you get that first rock that you bake, you go, if I cut it really finely, I can use it like, toast. you know, and that's what I do. I go, is this bread that I'm going to eat, like this, or am I going to do it? You document, yes, we are documenting it and doing it together. You see, what a wonderful thing to do together. Do the cheese together as well. And that's what I was saying to Doug. Teach Damien how to make cheese and how to make bread. Right? This is way important to do. I think teach the children. Why? It will give them a whole different aspect. And I don't care how old your children are. Pass the skills along so people can see it's doable. Valuable skills. Why? They will keep you fed. If the only thing you can get is flour and water, know that you can live on flour and water. Right. And Jeannie's saying, I told my daughter to talk positively in the mirror to herself so she will love herself more. I get this from you. Well, I just want to tell you something. That we all need to know that if we don't like who we are, if we don't love who we are, how do we expect anybody else to love us? Right? If we want to blame everything on the world, I just won't let people around me do the blame game. Right? I hold them accountable. What are you doing about it? Well, nothing, because no. Because, if you're not doing anything about it, please don't complain about it. And because to me, part of what feeds the negativity, when people sit with me, Jeannie, and they spread rumors about other people, I will look at them, and you know what I will say, Jeannie? I will say to them, I wonder what you're saying about me when I'm not there. What? No, I like you. I said, yeah, but I still wonder what you're saying about me when I'm not there. Because I just heard what you said about another human being. So, to me, it's like we have such incredible influence, all of us. I am pretty certain that if I had told Jody what an influence she would have on viewers, if I told her that a couple of years ago, she would have laughed me off the broadcast. And yet, how many of you know that Jody has become an integral part of what we do and how we follow up and stuff like that? So I look at it and go, each one of you gets to be that person in somebody else's life if you choose to. You can stop the rumors. You can stop the hate. You can stop the racism in your community by not allowing it in your home. All right, and Jeannie's saying that her daughter is currently helping a 6-year-old who has leukemia and his younger brother. She needs to love herself more. She's helping them as a nanny. She needs to help herself more. That is your judgment, right? Does she want to love herself more? What I would recommend, Jeannie, if you would like my my input on this, one of the things that I do to people where I want them to do that, I will actually print out a list of positive adjectives, charming, helpful, grateful, all those words. And what I will do is I'll frame it and I'll give it to them and say, do me a favor, hang this in your bathroom. And while you're cleaning your teeth, ask yourself, what would a charming, enthusiastic, beautiful, caring, and just literally ask yourself, what would they be doing today? And it changes your whole mentality. Jody's saying, it is laughable indeed. I was headed nowhere fast, and now my dreams are coming true. and I have joy in my life. And so does Lionel. I am pretty certain that that has had an effect on Lionel, your husband, as well, Jordan. Now, I know it's been a bit of a problem for some of the family members who used to be able to manipulate you, but, they'll get over it. This is DearMamaSal saying, you see, part of learning to relax is to be who you are and to have your boundaries and to take time for yourself and to be grateful that the Achilles are getting better, but, the knee's a bit sore, but I've got that looked after. You just realize that this is all part of life. And guess what? What if I see the knee thing happening now as a funny, right? Isn't it funny? Last week, last month, 2 months, 3 months, I haven't been able to walk very quickly because of my Achilles. I got those just about fixed. And what happens? I put my knee out. Very funny. So you just need me to keep slowing down. Do you understand? It is all part of the humor of life. So thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for learning and caring to learn, because I really do believe that part of coping with life, do not quit learning, do not quit on creating, and, definitely do not quit on learning to relax. Jeannie, it's my pleasure to share my 73rd birthday with you. And I am looking at it and going, I just pray we can all celebrate 74 together as well. That would be a great gift to me and hopefully to all of you. And keep being who you are. Just keep growing as a person. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you dearly. And we will see you next week, God willing. Bye-bye for now.